Hello, everybody. Welcome to my Crystal Loves
Hey,
Texas
y'all.
podcast. And we've got some wonderful guests in here today. Our guests in here today are from Pride Houston, and they know that we are getting everything together with our brand new studio. And
It's the
we are,
Crystal Loves Texas rebrand.
yes, it is. Yes, it is. And we're yelling like that, but I'm going to tell my guests I consider her like my niece. I'm going to say, Tiffany, grab those mics and pull them on down here. I started us too early. I should have had my mics down here already. But guys, thank you so much for coming into the Crystal Loves Texas podcast today. I really appreciate you. I want to first, of course, say hello to my co-host, my bestie, Rebecca Williams.
Hello, everybody.
And in the studio today, we have the Pride Houston organization. Now, that is, I was calling it Pride 365, but Pride Houston.
365.
It is. Okay. Okay.
So
Well,
it's
you
Pride-
you're gonna get me right.
So it's Pride Houston 365.
Yes. Okay. I knew Miss Tiffany was gonna get me right.
But Tiffany was gonna get her together.
Absolutely. We have Tiffany Scales from Pride Houston 365. She is the president of the organization, and she is going to introduce her guest that is with us today. Tiffany, I will let you do the honors.
I am happy to introduce you to my co-vice president, Carrie Ann Morissette.
Pleasure being here.
Carrie Ann, I love that name.
Oh,
It's
thank
cute.
you.
It's cute.
It's
Yes.
Jamaican. You know,
Yes.
every Jamaican has Ann.
And and you know what the thing about it is, Carrie Ann, I knew I recognized the accent.
Ah.
I was trying to figure out where it was. I was like,
Yeah.
No one ever guessed. No one.
Really?
No one. There was, are you from London? No.
Yeah, it does.
Ethiopia,
It does.
no.
It does sound a
Are you
little bit.
Nigerian?
No, it doesn't sound Nigerian. It sounds like it's from the islands. I was gonna say Trinidad, but that's close. That's close.
Skip it away.
But Tiffany, listen, we want to jump right into things because you and the Pride Houston 365 team have been on the Crystal Loves Texas podcast since we started
Yes.
almost 3 years ago. This is our third year.
Yes, it is.
And you guys have been on for
All 3 years.
this is the third year. And Tiffany, one thing I can say is that I love the way that you all keep your nose to the grindstone, and you work and you see that growth every year. It's visible, it's obvious.
Thank you.
And
One thing that I love about Pride 365, Houston, Houston, one thing I absolutely love, I love how y'all advocate so toughly for the community, the LGBTQIA community.
yes.
In a day and time where it is being disparaging and being hated on, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, you
Well,
guys
yeah.
have been on the ground,
Always.
working,
Always.
advocating, and I am just so proud.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And Tiffany, we're gonna jump right in because what's inevitably I got my retainer on today. We are inevitably going to because we always do this, the conversation goes organically. Yes. And that's kind of what we wanted to do, but we have some things we do want to hit on. But Tiffany, let me allow you please to introduce yourself, not me introduce you, but you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about the genesis of Pride Houston 365.
You know, I recently learned a little bit more about Pride Houston's beginning. I got to meet with the founder of the organization, Mr. Larry Bagneri, who was attending a celebration in a different city, and his little sister tugged at his shirt and said, "This is boring." And he felt so admonished to figure that out.
Yes.
How to bring something to the city that he can be proud of, something more lively and more forthcoming of what was needed for our city and our
Yes.
community. And so, being that he has a book coming out very soon called Call Me Larry, I encourage you to find more about Pride Houston and how we began doing this
Yes.
moving forward. But since its inception, Pride Houston has been forcing its way through a lot of the calamity by allowing itself to stand for the justice that needs to be upheld for all of us, no matter our walk of life. And I am proud to serve on a board with fellow volunteers that serve in such a capacity.
Yes. And well, tell me a little bit about how you got involved in Pride Houston.
Whew, that's
Period.
a long but a short story.
Okay.
It was the Afrotech and happened
Okay.
to meet Tiffany there, had a conversation, and I decided I want to sit in on one of these meetings.
Yes.
And being from a background where I have been involved with many prides across the United States, I thought, why not sit in on the meeting? And when I
Yes.
sat, I was pleasantly surprised and impressed at how structured and organized and that the plan that they have for this year. So I thought to myself, why not? Why would I not be a part of something so great?
Exactly. Exactly. Well, Rebecca's going to ask you something in a minute, but both of you, I want to ask you this. You know, the pride or well, when people think of pride, they can, depending on where they're from, there are many different ways that people relate to pride. And in Houston, we relate to it as a big celebration. We know that it's a big celebration. The media is all over it every year. But you know, everything is not cake and ice cream. You know, and I know that, and I've been privy to be able to witness some things and to be in on some dialogue. I know that everything hasn't been cake and ice cream all the time, but I want to ask you, what are some of the tough things that you guys have endured through, and some of the more fun things that you guys have endured through?
It's always tough to crack eggs, right? You always want the yolk and the white
Yes.
separate and unnecessary points.
Yes,
But the fun part for me is seeing the kids eat the cake and the ice cream.
yes,
Not worrying about how much flour we had to ingest to have in our faces. Not worrying about how many times we saw eggshells in the pot and we had to fix that too or something.
yes.
But ultimately the day that we're moving forward to is June 28, 2025.
Okay.
And on that day, we're gonna celebrate our legacy with everybody. The sweat, the tears, the
Yes.
listening to the community talk about their fears. Those are the hard parts, right? Because you want to be able to say you deserve to enjoy your experience, and I want to hold true to that honesty. But at the
Absolutely.
same time, not all the experience is enjoyable. So I would just say that this is our conditioning process.
Exactly.
And to add to that, I think with any journey, you have to have a little rock in the road, right? And that's how it serves.
Absolutely.
And it makes you stronger because every obstacle you have or every situation that you face, it is only a teaching lesson to say, okay, this is how we can move forward. This is what the community needs, and
Yes.
this is what we're going to do to make sure that they receive that.
And it makes you appreciate the good times.
Yeah.
It makes you appreciate the good times. Yes.
So I understand that as the organization grows, it takes a village to make certain that needs and responsibilities are met in a timely and comprehensive manner. Is Pride Houston active year round, or does the ramp up start several months prior to the yearly Pride celebration?
365.
It's all inclusive though. So yes, we are an active organization. We have engagement and outreach year round. We're participating in other people's events, whether they're having celebrations or special events for us to come out and show love. But we also attend other large organizations events like Bunnies on the Bayou, the Allies in Hope, Walk Against AIDS, Truth Project, some of our own RISE recipients from previous years. We participate in their events throughout the year to make sure that they see us in those spaces. But we ramp up celebration preparation about a month after the last one. We've spent the
Okay.
next 11 months
Yes.
for the next, right?
Yes. And Tiffany, I've seen the process.
Yeah.
I've seen you in the process. And,
Because I'm wondering how y'all sleep during.
I know.
Oh,
I
you
know.
Like when I tell y'all they have something every day
Yes.
for the whole 30 days.
Yes. And Tiffany, we've seen new and innovative additions to the Pride Houston 365 lineup just in the past 2 years that we've been involved with you. And since you've been coming on the show and the festivities, for our podcast, the fashion show, which is the fashion show.
It's
Yes.
definitely a highly coveted event. Rock the Runway.
It's a huge hit.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit about some of the fashion show and some of the additional festivities that are in the works for this year, because you sent me sort of a lineup and y'all got some new stuff going on.
Well, in all honesty, I think a lot of times people hear Pride and think it's just the last Saturday of the month. Whereas, we celebrate Pride every day. But during Pride Month, which is June,
Yes.
we kick off at Carbach, which is our community sponsor, and we have an amazing time with local vendors and individuals coming out to enjoy themselves for 6 hours in the sun. I still have a tan. But throughout the year, we are admonishing people to learn more about our Grand Marshals because to be
Yes.
Grand Marshal of Pride Houston is a true honor, a true testament to the servitude being presented, forthcoming of those who know the call
Wow.
to action is necessary.
Yes.
And so we're getting ready in February, this coming Wednesday, for our Grand Marshal
Yeah.
candidate announcement. And this is going to be uncovered with our unveiling for our 2025 celebration logo reveal.
So
Highly acclaimed, super coveted event. We have over 200 RSVPs, and of course, we know people
Wow.
will trickle in the day of.
Yes.
But that's going to allow them the access. One day only, special discounts, price goes up once you know what's going on. But June 15th, we will have already announced our celebration winners for the Grand Marshal position. And that's going to be the award ceremony where we have a reception with them. That will take place in the community where we'll have some delicious food, some amazing opportunities to just let them shed light on what they're doing. And one thing I know Pride does is take ownership of being able to acknowledge the community. I really do appreciate that opportunity though. Like we have people who have been volunteering and
Yeah.
serving for decades. And then we have some individuals that we're highlighting who came out the woodworks, like just had never even known to need to say
Yes.
something. But when they spoke up, everybody came outside.
Exactly.
And what I'm loving this year about ramping up for celebration is seeing all of these organizations come together, like the summit that we got to attend with the Montrose Center.
Okay.
And
How
send
was that?
oh, let me
amazing.
say.
But I wanted to, it was absolutely amazing, but I wanted to add, before we jump on the Montrose Center, a lot of the events that we put on just before the parade as well, it gives people the ability to enjoy Pride without having to be out in the sun. There's a lot of
Exactly.
people who don't have.
Thank
the
you for
ability
looking
to
out for people.
Appreciate you.
Rebecca is not like the summer.
Wow.
But you know, there is an alternative. Carrie Ann has just sealed our sponsor for our Ivy Drips this summer, and they will be one of the vendors at the
Wow.
festival. Well,
Hydrate.
we encourage that you start hydrating now because your safety really does matter to us. But if you get an IV drip the week before you come outside, you will like us not sweat.
That's what I need to do.
Yes.
You know,
I don't do outside.
she does, Rebecca does not like the sun.
I don't at all.
Okay.
So,
But both of you, let me ask you this, before Rebecca goes on. You mentioned something that I want to touch on a little bit. You said that there are so many people that are considered for that position of Grand Marshal. They're qualified people.
Oh,
very
yes.
Qualified people.
Yes.
So what is the process like? How do people apply? Do you approach people and say, we've seen what you're doing in the
Oh,
community?
no, it's a very organized
And we-
process, Crystal.
Okay.
So around November, December, Pride Houston puts out the information for nomination acceptance.
Okay.
And that is where individuals can nominate themselves if they want to.
Okay.
But of course, it's always a nice surprise when you get a call from the president saying you've been nominated,
Yes.
right? But after the nominations come in, that takes about 6 weeks to retrieve. Our GMAC, our esteemed Grand Marshal Advisory Committee,
Mhm.
they overview those announcements and nominations, and they decide who are the top 3 for each candidate.
Wow.
That is a tedious 3 to 4 hour
I'm
process.
sure it is.
But it also,
Criteria that-
but the criteria, it really does stand true to. Some people come in and they hit the ground running, and we acknowledge them. But we definitely are honing in on the ones who have been doing this consistently with their head down, foot to
With
the
no,
ground.
with no recognition.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And so typically, if you look at certain parades, there's usually one Grand Marshal.
Yeah.
Pride Houston has 5. We have
Wow.
an allied Grand Marshal. We have
Okay.
a non-binary, non-gender conforming Grand Marshal. We have
Okay.
a male and female identifying Grand Marshal.
Okay.
And we have an organization Grand Marshal. In addition to having honorary Grand Marshals, we are breaking barriers. This year,
Yes.
we have 3 honorary Grand Marshals, the most esteemed, distinguished individuals of our community all across the board.
Yes.
Hands down, they're going to be accepted today and acknowledged tomorrow.
Now, are each of the Grand Marshals, do they serve in a different capacity, or are they going to be there just for the parade, or are they at all of the festivities?
You know, and all,
Or do we have to come to see?
well, no, I mean, I want you to come on Wednesday, the 5th, to come to the reveal and see who the nominees are.
Yeah.
And that's June 5th.
No, February 5th.
February
Yeah. So
Just so
February
I'm-
5th.
Oh, okay.
February 5th, we're going to announce the candidates. At
Okay.
8 p.m., once the event is over, that's when voting takes place.
Mm.
That's when it's really fun because
Yeah.
the community can go online and they can decide which one, and they'll see their bio. If they don't know about these individuals, you'll learn about
Exactly.
them. And then you'll start to see them all over the place because we're like, everywhere.
Right.
May 5th is when we announce the winner.
Okay.
That's going to be a high esteemed event with media. The Grand Marshal winners are the esteemed folk of the community. They are the
Yes.
ones who lead our parade.
Yes.
Right. And so this is something that, if you don't have much to do and you're looking to get started in the community, start volunteering, because those are ways to truly build relationships. Because I mean, it's beautiful to give and nobody worry about the accolades. But when you want to truly like put your foot in the paper
Yes.
and allow yourself to like have an imprint left,
Right.
you want to get involved with the community.
And the reason for recognizing Grand Marshal is to make sure that people are seen.
Mhm.
People understand that you are doing the work, you're the movers and the shakers, your feet are on the
Yes.
ground, and we want to make sure that you are recognized for that.
Giving them that
Absolutely.
flowers.
Giving them
That's
that
right.
flowers. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
So we've seen new and innovative additions to Pride Houston lineup just in the past 2 years since you've been coming.
Oh, we-
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
yeah. Okay. That's okay.
I wish we could edit stuff like this.
That's okay.
I
It's
know.
fine.
I know that a huge effort of the Pride Houston celebration is to raise money for organizations around the Houston area to support many LGBTQIA charities and organizations. What are some of the organizations this year's celebration will benefit?
Well, actually, we're announcing our first recipient of Rise on Wednesday.
Okay.
We encourage you to come
Yeah.
find out.
So she's keeping up with
Okay,
this.
but
She's keeping up with this.
She's building.
Oh,
I
I
know.
tell you, we have. I can't tell you one thing. There is an organization that is almost 40 years old that has a new program that is LGBT centered, and we are partnering with them
Okay.
to provide mental health support and emotional support for our community.
Right.
During the times that we're facing, Pride Houston wants to really take ownership of finding a solution and
Yeah.
helping individuals navigate as we get there. So this is going to be a great announcement on Wednesday as well.
Okay, so I had another question that was not in our list of
Yes.
questions because we
It's
kind of
organic.
we-
Organic conversation.
we
Yes.
kind of divulged on it a little bit before we went on air. But one of the things that one of the pillars that you guys are focusing on this year is self-care and
Yes.
mental health.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
can you elaborate to our audience, one, why was that a focus this
Mhm.
year? And two, what I guess what brought the focus on and what is it going to do for Pride 365 Houston?
I'll start.
Cool.
We know self-care is important. You
Absolutely.
cannot take care of anyone if you don't take care of yourself. It's kind of like when you're on the plane and they say, put your mask on first. If
Yes.
you're not emotionally, if you're not mentally, if you're not physically grounded and feeling your full self, then there's nothing you can do. So we want to encourage people. And so many times, especially as service people, we give and we give and we give and we want to help and we want to make sure that I'm here. Whatever you need, I'm here.
Yes.
But when do we take this time to say, I need to be here for me? I need to breathe. I need to let go. I need to relax. I need
Yes.
to seek therapy. I
And not
need a
feel
bubble
guilty.
bath.
And not feel
Right.
guilty.
Exactly. When do we
Yeah.
stop? So I believe part of the reason is for us to focus on self-care is to say, focus on yourself so that you can be there for everybody else. So you
Yes.
can be there for the community. So you can build. And I'll let you harp on
So
that.
to piggyback off that, another reason, last year during Mental Health Awareness Month, Pride used to put on an event called Ready to Exhale. And we had a panel discussion with professionals and individuals who contribute to the wellness of the mind, from yoga instructors to organizers, as well as mental health professionals and therapists.
Right.
The pivot in that event that truly did spark something was the fact that all of the individuals were open to share their story.
Yes.
There were attendees that would come and get on the mic and release their truth unapologetically. Shout out to Kevin Anderson for
Yes.
building platforms where we can do that.
Yes.
And having another event makes it an event.
That's right.
Being called to act is what happens.
Yes.
And so I personally just lost a friend to suicide who was not aware of the resources that they had.
Wow.
And there are resources that have been established, one of which by the hands of the CEO of the Montrose Center.
Yes.
It is truly an honor to learn about the why of the leaders here in the city. But with the projects that we're working on now, this is a call to action for us to stand in the space, but to also be welcome to come in those spaces.
Right.
Because for me, if you spend an hour talking about what happened last month to your therapist, you've missed the opportunity to get a tool to apply.
Right.
Right. And so the workshops, the art therapy, the elements of, nurturing your mind and allowing your body to relax and even take ownership that you deserve to enjoy your experience, it allows for the wellness to take place.
And Tiffany, I'm gonna throw this in, and this is a little bit candid,
Okay.
but it's one thing that I really appreciate about you. And if anybody follows Tiffany, Tiffany will just go live sometimes and just tell exactly what space she's in at that place in a very vulnerable way. That makes people able to connect.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
makes people able to connect.
Thank
And
you.
I don't know if I had a relative of mine go on and listen to what you were saying one time because it was so real and raw at that moment. But that makes other people feel like if they're feeling that way, that there's nothing wrong with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a transparency, I think. And I think Carrie Ann can attest to that. The transparency of our leadership and our servitude allows for that connection. So celebration is not a crowd of strangers, but it looks like
Mhm.
family.
Yes.
And you understand that we're all human, right? We all have
Absolutely.
ups and downs, and a lot of times we look at people that are in certain position and certain level of influence, and we think their life is perfect. They don't
Yeah.
have stress. They
Yeah.
don't have nuances in their day to day. So when you go live, or when we take a moment to say, you know what, I too cry.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I too
Yes.
get overwhelmed, and I too have trauma, and that again allows people to say they're real. That they're not a figment. They're actually real people. And I
That's
can
right.
come and I can approach them.
Well, Carrie Ann and Tiffany, can you please clarify for us? And I'm asking this question because so many people have reached out to us and asked us about this. And I did not want to guide them in the wrong direction, but I wanted to say absolutely this is part of what's going to happen. But can you tell me if this year's festivities, is there going to be a space for families?
Family
And
Fun
for-
Zone.
Yes.
Tuesday, we are meeting with
Yes.
our sponsor of Family Fun Zone. Family Fun Zone is a space where this year I'm looking for snow cones, not ice cream because it's too hot for that.
Yes.
But pizza, hot dogs, ice cream, bouncy houses, fun and excitement.
So if someone is interested in participating as a vendor, they can connect now?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Registration
Okay.
is open and the price goes up in February, y'all. So
Okay.
we have so many opportunities. Pride Houston at midnight, our small business initiative ends. But that
Wow.
initiative allows for small businesses of, people that have a DBA or just started an LLC,
Right.
but are local and want to be connected because yes, this is a very much covered event by our sponsor, ABC 13,
Yes.
and all the hundreds of thousands of individuals online on their own phones.
Absolutely.
So it's great
Absolutely.
placement for the opportunity. Plus it's a tax write-off because we're a 501c3.
And let me ask you this, and because a lot of people don't know this, but during that month, there are events all over town
Oh, absolutely.
going on at all times
Mm-hmm.
of the day and the evening.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
The celebration is not one day.
No.
Celebration
No.
is 365, that's one, but also for the month of June, because that was the month where Stonewall, where everything
Yes.
happened, that kind of sets the precedent for what we do today and for the fact that we can
Yes.
actually be free and be loud. We take the entire month to say, we're gonna recognize everybody. We're gonna recognize the L, the G, the B, the T, the Q, the I, and especially the plus, because the plus is where we have a plethora of different
Yes.
sexuality and such, but also our allies.
Absolutely.
Because a lot of times we don't take the time to say, you know what, our allies matter. Because of them, we're able to open certain doors and be in certain spaces because they advocate.
Just like this one, and we do appreciate your allyship.
Oh, we love y'all. Y'all my family. And here's the thing that I want people to know and understand. I don't care who you are or where you live for that matter. There is someone who is part of the community in every person's family out there, whether or not you want to embrace those people or not. They are there. So to me, the more you are welcoming and that you are making sure that people find a place of comfort around you, then the better off your society is.
And sometimes that's where our home is. Sometimes our home is not with our family because our family kind of shun. But when we can find places where we feel we can be authentically ourselves
Yes.
and we feel appreciated, seen, and accepted, that becomes our family and that
Yes.
becomes our home. So it's great to have allies and it's great to have a community where you can just go and say, you know what, Today I just need a shoulder.
Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pride is definitely, I know earlier you had mentioned like people think Pride is just a celebration. It's not just a party. You know,
No.
Pride celebration is something that we do to raise funds for the production of the organization, but also for the service. Our RISE program, where we rally, inspire, serve, and elevate other organizations that are on, off grassroots basis. They're
Yeah.
under 3 years old. They don't necessarily have the platform or the access to the media.
Right.
We bring them with us.
Because
together, absolutely.
On it, because as Tiffany mentioned earlier, mental health is very much a focus of hers, but not just a focus of hers, but a focus of the community, because we
Right.
need it. And a lot of how we raise funds and such is going to move towards that. So we make sure that people know you have support, whether that is through counseling or through a room to come into, a night to share, space with people and friends.
Yes.
We're gonna make sure that we have that, and the funds and the celebration and stuff help us with to be able to do other things beside parade.
It's also a great opportunity for our locals. We actually have started our call to action for artists to send in their EPKs and to allow us to know
Wow.
what they're doing out there that's creative. We have so much talent in this city.
We do.
I mean, spoken word, dance, paint. People create things. I met an individual last year who can like literally crochet in the club with their friends, so they're not overstimulated by the noise. But
Right.
they're making little cute things that they sell at the Pro Bar Market.
I love that.
And
We just
you know,
fascinating.
yeah.
We have a beautiful community.
You know what, Tiffany? I don't know if this is part of, if this will somehow maybe later on be incorporated, but is there an art festival that celebrates the art of the community that's part of the,
In all honesty, there is an organization called the Art Ballet, and they have been doing a once a month first Saturday in the Heights, where artists come out with their visual arts.
but what about with Pride 365? What about that month?
Well,
Is there-
no. So in the spoken word space, where the arts merge with the heart and soul, that is an
Yeah.
organization produced by the Truth Project, which is an LGBT centered organization.
Okay.
Heart and Soul is a space where artists come, whether it's live painting, dance,
Wow.
poetry. I'll actually be performing at their anniversary show on February 16th. So
Yes.
yes, it is there, but it's in that spectrum of the whole 365.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
For Pride Houston, during Pride Month, we have entertainment. So we have individuals doing performances on Wednesday
Okay.
from our community, amazing, beloved individuals, DeValen, Ivan Dickerson. We have Trinidad, Black Velvet, Artemis Hunter. We have Alexis Paris, just beautiful souls
Wow.
who are beloved in the Montrose area already
Yes.
for their stage presence and their
Yes.
beautiful creations. But they're coming to our stage, and it's
Wow.
it's gonna be a different experience, right? For celebration, our festival will consist of locals and headliners, but I wanted to make sure this year we would touch base with the locals that have access to get on
Right.
stage and see what that platform feels like.
That's awesome.
And because and next goes with the question that I was gonna ask, which y'all already answered. Will there be informative and educational workshops as well as fun festivities for participants? So I'm gonna stretch that question a little
Okay.
further and ask, because Crystal knows that I'm very, very politically mindset. I have a very political mindset, and I know with things that are happening, and we kind of divulged a little into that too before we got on, before we went live. But how do you guys plan to move Pride Houston 365? I'm trying, guys. Pride Houston 365 in this political climate. How do you plan to move it forward and push it forward? Because I know, and I have friends that's a part of the LGBTQIA community, and we've had these conversations about a lot of fears that they had about what's going on.
Well, I want to catch that fear is false evidence appearing real. Our
That's
community
right.
has an opportunity to find a solution. And while one individual may not see that opportunity, together we can find it together, right?
Yes.
So the aspect of what Pride Houston does when we do our outreach, when we do our engagement events, even during the season where we're recruiting for volunteers, individuals on our board and in our volunteer staff are registered they're deputized to register voters. And so there are ways that we can advocate and support in those spaces. It's so important. We're not going to tell you what to do, but
Yes.
we're going to give you tools to do what needs to be done. And we're going to continue doing that.
And I think we recognize that it's beyond the major election, right? And that's the
Absolutely.
reason why I dislike using the word weaponize, but it has to be used at this moment. Weaponize people with their vote to say you have the ability to have a say, even though we've done with this 4 years and this is what we have. But
That's
come
right.
2 years from now, you have the
Thank
potential,
you.
the ability to put someone else in house.
Thank
So
you.
therefore you can be heard, your voice can be heard, and your situation are not just locked in one person. You have
Absolutely.
a large room of people who help make laws.
That's
And there's
right.
a lot of fear, and as Tiffany said, fear is a lack of knowledge, I think. Fear is something that is incited into us because the more fear you create, then the more control you have. And knowing that we have organizations that stand by Pride, that support us no matter what's going on in this climate. They say, we're going to support you 100%, and we're gonna make sure that you're funded, you're seen, and you have everything that you need
Yes,
to continue
yes.
being the organizations that you are. And we're very grateful for companies like that.
Oh, that's
And
good.
and the thing about it is, it's so important that Pride Houston 365 is able to withstand a lot of things in the climate, right now, simply because you have young people coming along who are feeling so isolated
Yes,
and left out and are being made to feel that way purposefully.
right.
And, younger people need to be able to find a place to belong.
Well, there is a place
Yes.
to belong. It's with Pride Houston, and I know that. I say that, but I'm so serious. You deserve to come, and you deserve to be, and you deserve to enjoy your experience,
Yes.
and you can do that unapologetically where we are.
And we're
And,
not
and,
gonna
and we're
stop.
outside. We're not gonna stop being here. We're not gonna stop standing with you, and we can't fix what we don't know is broken.
Yes.
But if your ego or your wherewithal or your hope is not in a space of control, just take a deep breath. Come to somebody, find somebody with this logo, find
Yes.
somebody who is on this website, find one of our volunteers who at one point in time, I'm sure, have been in a place feeling just as complacent, feeling just as lost, and have found their way.
Yeah.
And we're here. We
Yeah.
are here in every capacity in the sense that we're not leaving.
Nope.
We're a strong organization. We will continue to grow. And in situations like this, that shows us that we have to continue. And we
Absolutely.
have to build not only on the foundation that's already built, created, but also on different pillars, because without that, we will fall, and we are not
Absolutely.
going to.
No, not the
Yeah.
community at all, right?
No,
Okay,
we
like,
will
Pride
not.
Houston has been here for 47 years.
And we're
And
gonna
there's
stay.
pride in saying that, right? Like I take pride in saying I'm the
Pride
fifth
Houston
woman.
is middle-aged.
We gray-headed over here, okay? And
Pride Houston's middle-aged.
Everyone, stop it.
You're almost middle-aged.
Well, Pride Houston is as old as I am.
but it's as strong as you are as well, right?
Yes,
And
there
so
we
to
go.
know that pride has walked itself into the hands of leaders who have integrity, leaders who have a vision, leaders who have the support mechanisms to stand together, we're going in a direction that moves forward. And so if you're ready to move forward, we want you to come connect with us, whether you attend our volunteer meetup at third Tuesday of
That's
Bell
what
Frisco,
we
you
talk
can
about,
meet
yes.
our outreach and volunteer director, Herman Finley, who is a huge advocate in making sure you know how to find your niche and get included. You can meet our engagement director, Michelle Fuentes, and she's going to make sure you feel empowered and included and welcome. We've got our new co-vice president. Her and Paul are going to make sure that you know that there is leadership and there is space for you.
Yes.
We have ambassadors now, and that's a new thing for Pride Houston.
Oh, talk about that.
So
Yeah.
the young people, as you mentioned, don't have a place to go.
That's what's gonna talk about.
There was
People
there was a heinous incident that took place around the holidays. And from that heinous experience came the opening of a bursting mind wanting to speak up for themselves and others.
Wow.
And by that experience, that individual, along with Hatch is an organization that serves the LGBTQIA2 plus youth. The
Okay.
president of the organization is currently aging out because they're of age to
Right.
be an adult.
Right.
And so they have both been adopted into our program for our
Okay.
ambassadors with our engagement team. And they are literally the example of what happens when you are looking to connect.
Yes.
Absolutely. And so
Yes.
we're honored, Rue and Rose are our ambassadors for engagement, and they are amazing attributes to connect us because I don't follow youth. I'm a grown woman and I don't have I don't have them on my algorithm.
Right.
Quite frankly, but I honor
there's a need.
that there is a need, and I
Yes.
respect that there are, trailblazers and there
Yes.
are, mindsets that are being made to let them know. I appreciate the relationships that I have with educators
Right.
in real life because there are students in the schools who don't know how to move and get forward
Yes.
to their direction. And so sometimes you don't realize where to find that connection until high school or college.
And actually, we as teachers are discouraged
Absolutely.
Yes, very
from even making suggestions.
Connections,
I have
connections.
students in my classroom every day that I can tell many of them are in a place of frustration.
A place of need. A
Yes,
place of need.
yes.
You know.
And
I
in
love
that
how you
middle,
said, I love
yes.
how you.
And in
I
the,
don't like the anger. I
Yeah.
really, I'd rather not adopt an emotion that is not going to last.
right,
This is a frustrating experience, but we're
Yes.
not going to give these children or adults
that's right,
an emotion that is not going to last.
that's right.
Let's just get
It's-
past it.
It's
together.
it's going to change. But, that's why I wanted to delve into that a tiny bit, Tiffany, because, I see it on a daily basis.
Yeah.
As a teacher, I was sitting in class today and I had my kids working on a project,
Mhm.
and I looked over at the student who was on the side of me, and he was looking at his nails, and I noticed his nails were just meticulously manicured and done with different kinds of designs. And I said, "Your nails," I said, "I never noticed your nails before. Your nails are beautiful." And just with me saying that, he just had a smile on his face, and it seemed like it made him feel more comfortable,
Yeah.
even around me.
Yes.
He did have a pretty
Acknowledgement
shape to his
is
nails. It was his nails were, and I had to go like this.
And it's so crazy because I've told Crystal on several occasions, I have had more kids come out to me before they've come out to their parents.
Parents.
And
Yeah.
one of the things that I appreciate, and I'm tearing up,
Don't tear up.
but one of the
That's okay,
things,
feel.
one of the things that I appreciated about that is that they saw comfort in me
Yes.
to say, "Miss Williams, can we talk? Can you?" Because they knew that I wasn't going to judge. I was going to listen. I was going to embrace. I was going to understand.
Absolutely.
And it just for them to see me as a safe space
Yes.
in that what did you say? In that place of not confusion, but what you need in that place of need. It was just for them to see me as that safe zone for them.
You gotta understand though, Rebecca, like the opportunity, as Carrie Ann mentioned earlier, for the entire community to say thank you to our allies. Now is definitely a time that you need to look up and say, yo, I'm grateful I have a friend. I'm
Yes.
grateful that there is a person that I can talk to, that I can entrust my child with, or
Right.
my community,
Right.
because you have such a role. And when you're
Absolutely.
spending a third of their waking day with them,
Yeah.
Yes.
when you're at the most developmental space to give them either support and tools or a hardship. I remember the teachers that called me stupid when I was a kid, and I hope their days ain't so great today.
Yeah.
The days they deserve.
But the teachers and the educators and even the janitors, the people that actually see you, acknowledge you, and allow you to be you,
Mhm.
we honor those people.
Well, Tiffany and Carrie Ann, let me ask you this. If someone if let's say that they aren't able to make it out to the volunteer event
Okay.
to try to learn how to connect, how can they connect with the organization? What are your social media presences so that they can connect? Because sometimes because of jobs or timing, people may not be able to go to an event. So
Absolutely.
how can they connect?
So we're really big on accessibility. We have opportunities for individuals to volunteer in a social space, online, virtually. We have opportunities when we launched this project with NAMI Greater Houston for our mental health, for you to actually facilitate and support the emotional support groups from home.
Okay.
But we also have opportunities for individuals to participate in spaces of art, as well as opportunities for what Carrie Ann's going to end with.
Oh, I was actually going to tell them where to find our
Yes.
social media.
Yeah.
We have our pridehouston.org. We also have our social media page such as Instagram, which is Pride Houston HTX.
Okay.
And we have, and I'll let you tell the Facebook because that is not a platform that I'm very happy with.
Oh, that's terrible. I'm saying, you're dating us now?
Well, I'm dating too, but I don't like it. I'm trying to be like the young folks.
Me too. I'm trying to figure out how to navigate around Instagram and every,
So Pride Houston, you can find us on everything. We're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We have Pride Houston 365 on Facebook, Pride Houston TX on Instagram, as well as TikTok. But we also have a page on Eventbrite for those who are not on social media or those who like to take breaks. If you type in pridehouston.eventbrite.com, you will find all of our events. And if you follow the page, you'll get a notification when we have a new one. So yes, thumbs up. Those are opportunities to keep up.
And I do want to say there's one thing that Tiffany mentioned, and I am going to be very free with saying this. One thing that you mentioned that really grabbed my attention is that you said you wanted to make Pride accessible to people who couldn't be there.
Yes.
And that's being virtual.
Yes.
So that is
Yeah.
something that we're working on to make sure that if you can't walk, if you can't be present in that hot Houston sun,
Right.
that you're
I
going to
can
have
and
a-
won't. Not at the business house.
But you can tune in live. We're gonna have something on our site where you can sign into our page and see everything.
I'm
It's
going
all
to-
seen on-
Going to the indoor events.
She said she's gonna stand in line, she's gonna stand in line this year, like she can get to the fashion show.
We have supporters that travel. We have supporters that have moved out of state. They're gonna tune into ABC 13 and they're gonna watch us from there and read line in that way as well. But no, our events, we will go live. We're going to be accessible because I know not everybody can be in the room, but we still want you to have the experience.
Another question that I had, and I know time is is moving, but for people that are a part of the LGBTQIA community, I know we've talked about a lot of the allies and the friendships, but the people that are actually a part of it and say, hey, you know, they might be new in town, they want to come and they want to get their feet wet in the community, or they might have some bright ideas
Absolutely.
you know, they have bright ideas, and you know, like you said, they have talents and they have other gifts that they don't know how to quite maneuver into this space. And I know we talked about it a little bit, but I just wanted to kind of delve more into it so they could come and say, you know what, this is what I want to be a part of. I'm new, but I want to get here and I want to work and I want to be a part
That's
of it.
exactly what you can do. And for those who are, you know, even who will see this video and you're about to go to a different city, I encourage you, find the Pride. Find the Pride organization in your city, find the art. If they don't have one, create one. That's how you do that.
And can they reach out to you and you can connect them with
If you
their
go to pridehouston365.org and say contact, that's my phone number. My cell phone will ring and I will answer it. It's always funny, like, is this Tiffany? Yes, Tiffany Scales.
Because people are used to having their PAs and stuff.
Yes.
saying.
No, we're more hands-on.
Oh, we are. Yeah. It's no other way.
Right.
I believe it's good to be connected with people and not just have someone who's a robot or someone who's not necessarily.
Absolutely.
you. Someone wants to, I want to talk to Tiffany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk to Tiffany's assistant.
They right. That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
Oh, it's so beautiful, y'all. Like I said, I'm a volunteer president of a very large.
Yes.
extent. We're the long-standing original organization of Pride here in Houston.
Wow.
Right? We are the third largest in the country. Top 20.
Say that again, because I want to make sure people understand that. You are a Pride Houston 365
Is the original Pride of Houston. We are the long-standing organization, 47 years of Pride. We have been here, we're not going anywhere, and we want you to come join us to celebrate with us.
Yes.
Celebration is our legacy. I don't
Yes.
care what your walk of life, you can say that with pride.
Yes.
Say
And-
that real right.
Yes. And you know what? I want to throw this out there because, you know, a lot of times people will ask, believe it or not, ladies, people will ask this. If you know, why do you want to be an ally with an organization if that, you know, you don't, you know, have any connection to the organization? But again, I'm going to put this out there. Everyone has connection. And let me tell you where I found so much frustration. And I was so glad when we connected because I have a relative who transitioned, I'm going to say about 7 years ago, a female to male transition. And I can say that transition saved his life.
Yeah.
I know for a fact that my relative would not have been here
Unless they're transitioning.
unless they made that transition. And my family rallied around and embraced my relative like they would have at any other point. But people need to see that, you know, people lose relatives because of their own walls that they've built around themselves.
Yes. Yeah. It's not everybody's story, Crystal. Not everybody
Wow.
feels safe to transition. Not everybody even feels free to do that.
Yeah.
And it's not always afforded. you know, the
Yes.
resources, but there are
Yes.
some beautiful organizations out here, the Transaction Project, the Normal Anomaly, the Mahogany Project. There are amazing groups, even with the Montrose Center and their advancements.
Yes.
They have made some very progressive advancements in this past year. And it's not that they weren't progressive before, but it takes for someone with the experience, the lived
Yes.
experience, the
Yes.
known need to bring forth some sources of resource. And so,
And the
Because,
desire to
and
know.
absolutely.
And I've always told Crystal, I said, your family situation is different. It's really
It's a privilege.
it's an anomaly because
Because Rebecca met my relative.
it's an anomaly because how many kids have gotten put out? How
Many
many
kids are not here anymore.
Yeah.
Day-to-day basis.
You know, how
Yeah.
many families have written people out of the will because of their lifestyle? Like we talk about these things but these people go through real life
Tribulations.
harsh because of who they are, right? So I tell Crystal all the time. I mean, your family is a blessing that a lot of people don't have.
And I think it's that blessing you pass it on, because even saying something like that right here on camera.
Will encourage somebody to
You're
be better.
encouraging someone to be better and to do better. And I think a lot of the time it's so much focus on tradition and what we're taught, right? So this person teach me this, so therefore this is the beliefs that I carry. But when you say something like this, now you're teaching someone something else, and now they have a different belief that they carry it. And we continue to break cycles and break all these things that we
And on the flip side of that, I've had people that ask me, why do you even support that? Like you're a part of this faith and you are part of these certain
I love Lords.
Like, wait a minute, and you're part of these ministries. How can you stand up here and fix your mouth to say that you support these people? And I've had people to tell me that directly to my face. And my response to that is there's nowhere where I read through Genesis through Revelations when Jesus said that somebody was incapable of love. That's just my
I
response.
was literally about
Yes.
to say the greatest sin is hate.
Yeah.
So
The greatest
say
if we have the ability to love somebody or to show somebody what it really means to feel seen and feel connected, and we take that away, I believe that's the greatest sin. So when you're letting people know that I am here, I'm going to show up. I don't care what my religion, what my creed, what my tradition, what I believe in, or how I was raised. I'm going to make sure that you feel seen, you feel like you're a person, and you matter just as much as my
they're
faith.
human beings.
You're a human being. That simple.
And you know what? I'm gonna leave the conversation with this
Okay.
in mind. This is what my pastor says every week. And I don't know how he came up with this creed, but I absolutely love it. I want to make sure I get it right. He says, as humans, it's our place to love, to serve, to reach, and to teach. And if we can do that,
Right.
then we have made some strides already. Nowhere in there did it say that it was our place in any way to judge.
Absolutely.
If we can love, serve, reach, and teach, we should be in a good place as far as moving this society forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to put that on the t-shirt.
I know I was gonna do it, but I didn't want him to think I was trying to take his
What's your last name?
message. His name is Bishop Kenneth Livingston.
Okay.
Yeah, it is the Higher Way Global Methodist Church.
Oh,
All right.
Yeah.
Bishop, she sent you a shout out. But Tiffany, just really, really quickly, because we still got just a few.
We do?
Yeah, we do.
I don't think we do, but go ahead, it doesn't matter.
No, yes,
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do, Rebecca.
Okay,
It's so good.
seconds.
And the thing about it is,
Going so well.
I know, one good thing, y'all, is that we don't have to get out of somebody's studio at a certain time. Okay.
I love it.
We can stay here as long as we want. Okay, go ahead.
Real quick, Tiffany, you are now the brand new president.
Yay!
Uh,
We're gonna get an applause track in here, y'all.
So, can you just inform the people a little bit about what your position is?
And what
how
you do?
how did you get it? And and what are some things what is your visions moving forward for the
Yeah.
organization?
You know, flies have a lot of eyes. And when you stand over quite a few folk because your height extends past their
Yes,
age, you have
yes.
a view that is not so skewed.
Right.
The vision I have for Pride Houston is to continue moving forward in spite of the hardships and calamity we face, but also to breathe through these moments because most people will become so disconnected, rather desensitized by the ways in which we're scrolling or passing by moments and individuals.
Right.
I have been very blessed to draw in volunteers and more individuals of support. And I want to continue growing that aspect because in my term, we'll be carrying Pride into its 50th anniversary. And
Absolutely.
so
That's-
these
that's
4 years
awesome.
mean something, right?
Yeah.
I'm honored to say that while these 4 years have not been something people have embraced in the last couple of weeks, I'm still excited about it because I know what is on the brink. We're on the brink of something exciting, something innovative, something powerful, and something strong.
Right.
And it testifies to the beautiful testament of what happens when we come together. And so my goal is to continue that. I put forth a letter of intent to the board of directors this summer after celebration where I realized after my mother passed and I could still show up for Pride, I'm like, okay, I'm truly committed
Yes.
to the betterment of this community and the sustenance of it. And I believe that if I could face that kind of calamity
That's right.
and still stand, then I have a strength power that I need to show other people how to embrace.
Absolutely.
And so I was unanimously voted into this position by the board.
Oh, I believe it.
And I'm honored to have the role.
Yes.
The vision that I had initially was more driven of the expectations to be met. But being in the position, I have to say, I'm just grateful that I embrace the truth that I too deserve to enjoy my experience.
Yes.
And even with the hardships that I have faced, like as a human, right?
Yeah.
I work at the airport. I got assaulted by TSA.
Oh,
However, it has afforded me
Yeah.
hours in the day where my board, I need 7 hours from them a week. I'm doing about 7 to 10 hours a day, and I have that time
Yeah.
to volunteer because I'm
Right.
injured.
Right.
But learning how to roll with the punches, I've done that for a while, and now I want to roll with the people who know how to keep the boat afloat, and now I
Exactly.
can. So that's the vision, and I want you to see it through with me.
Exactly. And I just want to say, I want to say this before we go. And I'm hoping one of my guests here is really tech savvy because someone who is Apple and iPhone and iPad savvy is going to help me figure out how to mirror my two devices so that I can operate it from here. They say that it's a possibility. Yes. So we got to volunteer.
Wait a minute, how do you know Madam President wants to do that for you?
If I can't do it, I got a resource.
Yes. But
Very
I-
I'm just gonna put that work on Madam President.
yes, I want to. Well, no. But one thing about Tiffany, if she is not sure, she's going to find the answer for you. She's gonna leave you a text that says, "Let me check." Let me check. That's right. That's right.
Can't ask me, and I'm not gonna get it. I promise.
And I want to say this to our guests who are out there. I've had some trolls come onto my podcast, onto the comment thread, and say some really nasty things after I've had the Pride organization on. Okay.
Hey, y'all.
Yeah. Exactly. And this is what I want to say, and that's the reason
Trolls and
that's-
nasty messages, DMs, private
and
messages.
threats.
Threats.
Yeah.
So both
It's
of us.
crazy.
Yeah, you still let us know?
People are going to have.
I don't care about a threat. Because a lot of times people who make threats, they stay behind, they're the wizard. They're the wizard behind that curtain.
Right.
But people need to understand that you can't expect, especially people of certain ages, a lot of times parents, grandparents may not be sure how to navigate because it's outside of their realm. Yes. And that's why it's so important to have organizations where they can say, this is my grandchild, this is my child, and I love you, but I'm not sure how to help you connect like you need to. So reach out to this organization because you're going to find other people that you are a kindred spirit with and that, who can embrace you. And you can even, in doing that, teach us what we need to know. So that's what, to me, and that's what being an ally means. It means getting the tools that you need so that you can be in a position to help other people.
And with that being said, please don't be afraid to be an ally. Crystal and I put out some things that we've dealt with being allies, the private messages, the DMs. But you know what? I don't care. I don't care. That's just my that's just my attitude towards
And
it.
that's what cowards do.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I hate that I'm even saying this, but they're no different than you and I. They go to work, they pay bills, they live their life. They're who
People-
they
I mean,
are.
More fashion sense, more polite, more creative, able to get things a little more easy.
Right.
Y'all want to learn from us.
Yeah.
One thing Candace, hey Candace, if you're out there,
Hey, Candace.
one thing Candace always says, I don't lead with, hey y'all, I'm gay. That's just not what,
Who
she-
does? Who does?
I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
She leads with her brain. She leads with her business savvy. She leads, and if you learn that along the way, then that's fine. So for the people that are afraid I call those closeted allies, if I use that phrase, it's okay to come out and support them publicly. It's truly okay. I
Yeah.
promise you.
Yeah.
It's also
We
okay
love
to ask
you.
questions, right? Every time I've been to an event with my polo this past year, I'll meet
It's
parents.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you, Houston T-shirt printer. But no, I'll meet parents and loved ones who will divulge that they have a sense of remorse for the distance relationships they have because their initial reaction to their loved one coming out or being outed was not in a healthy manner.
Wow.
And for that loved one's wellness, they distance themselves. And so there
Yes.
are parents and friends and colleagues who want to know how to rekindle relationships,
Yeah,
want
that's
to
what I
know
was
how
gonna
to
say. Yeah.
heal relationships. And I mean, I'm pretty sure between me and the rest of my board, we can help you navigate that.
Yeah.
Not only that, we have a list of resources.
Absolutely.
We have, because whatever we can do is such a big community where we have so many different service providers and so many different organizations that focuses on different aspect of needs, right?
Yes.
So if we can't, just like the tablet, if she can't do it, she's going to put you through someone who can.
She'll say, let me check.
Let me
Give me a minute.
And we're gonna connect you.
No,
Yes.
we're a very resourceful organization. I mean, from the sense of even the businesses that do invest in Pride Houston, the individuals that will become vendors and participate in our parade, you're gonna see that trail of businesses and individuals who are standing as proud allies of this organization. That's where your dollars should go.
Absolutely. That's absolutely right. And ladies, from the bottom of our hearts, we are so
Yes.
happy that y'all came out. And this is the invitation that I extended to Tiffany. This week, I said, Tiffany, we want to be there during your ramp up time because we want you to really to ramp things up this year.
Thank you.
Tiffany's over, like I said, Tiffany's like, I got Denise. Okay, but we want to see this shine under your
Thank you.
leadership.
Thank you.
And I know that in the coming months, you're going to let us know of other times when you need to come on and let people know about things that are going on.
And I want you to meet the rest of the board.
Mhm.
It's different when you come off the air and you're just gonna enjoy a very experience of just prestige and indulgent, right?
Wow.
But
yes.
I want you to hear from my board. Our fundraising director, Kitty Howard. We have our outreach director, who's over volunteer services, Mr. Finley.
Uh-huh.
We've got Isaiah McSwain over marketing, and then we have Haley, who is our new secretary, who is just adding value and amazing
Wow.
integrity to our
Come on.
team.
Yes.
But she also makes really good cookies, so you gotta come to the
Stop.
events and have the
Oh,
experience
now,
with us,
okay,
right?
now you're
We
taking
have
it my
incentive,
heartstrings.
right? We have
I know
incentive.
Tiffany is so tired of hearing me say this. Girl, I'm trying to lose weight.
She has this little thing she'll put on you, and it's like you eat the cookie, and then you keep walking on the treadmill.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Oh, how funny.
It's okay.
I love that.
I know Tiffany's sick of me hearing saying that.
And listen, we have the cupcake and then we go
Yes.
for a walk.
You know what? You can even come to our volunteer training tomorrow and walk with us on the trail. We have a whole parade route to go over to make sure that our volunteers that are learning the roles of Celebration Day We start that training tomorrow.
Well, wait a minute, you need to tell us about that.
Okay, so
If somebody wants to come out.
PrideHouston365.org/volunteer if you would like to register to be a volunteer for Pride. And if you want to have a leadership role with Pride Houston and just contribute in a major way, whether, if you're really into the arts and you know how to maintain qualities, decorum, our green room needs volunteers. We need
Wow.
backstage volunteers. Our VIP space needs volunteers. We also need volunteers at our security gate, volunteers to help us, maintain the hydration
Yes,
station because we
yes.
gotta make sure everybody has water.
This is important
So
stuff.
there's all kinds of roles,
Yes.
but every one of the roles for Pride Houston volunteers is listed. And
Okay,
even our board goes on that site to register for what roles they're gonna play in
Right.
for celebration.
You can't do this
Okay,
without
and
you.
that is,
Absolutely.
and if they want to connect and meet you all out at you said it's gonna be a trail walk or something?
So we will meet on the steps of City Hall at 901 Bagby tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. and the first and third Saturday of each month through April.
Okay. Okay, now that's a way you can connect. Okay.
Physically.
Age requirements for people to.
Oh, we
to
do
connect
ask
with you.
that you're 18 or older
Okay.
or accompanied by a guardian. But if you're 16, 17 and you demand that you be president support, I'm not gonna deny you. But, family fun zone focused, but definitely we want you here. We need you.
Okay, well, Tiffany Scales, Carrie Ann, what was your last name?
Morrison.
I just like saying Carrie Ann. Okay, and Carrie Ann Morrison, Rebecca Williams, like we say every week.
She ready.
Tiffany's ready.
You gotta prepare me.
I know. Okay, well, you'll know the next time. You'll follow us this time. But like we say every week on the Crystal Loves Texas podcast, we can do it.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Now you're gonna watch her walk all the way over there and shimmy
I know, but
in her
next time,
dress.
next time I'll have my
She'll do it from the iPad.
yes.
I got
Or
the
click
Wednesday. It's gonna be so beautiful. We have a food vendor donor, and when I tell you this pasta about to be eaten, so
Yeah,
Is it pasta?
Frio to go.
Oh.
When is this, Wednesday?